Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, college football, college basketball, boxing, you name it, we got it. It's the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports with Beanie, CFO, Ken, and host 12 Kyle. Dead End Sports starts right now.
7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Thank you for tuning in once again. It is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means it's time for the best 2 hours of your sports week. You are locked in to Dead End Sports. I'm your host, 12 Kyle. The phone number to call in, area code 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. This is an interactive show. We ask that you not just listen to the show. Hey, be a part of the show. Participate in tonight's discussion. There's a couple of ways you can do that. You can log into our chat room. Our chat room is always open, and it's always interactive. Just create a profile for yourself and join the discussion, or you can log in as a guest and watch the chat room participants go back and forth. If you're on Twitter, hit us up on Twitter at Dead End Sports. You can also hit us up individually. You can follow me at 12 Kyle. You can follow B at BZ430. You can follow FIFO at FIFO247. And you can follow Ken at KBINGE. Remember, this show is being broadcast live each and every Tuesday night. So in the event you cannot listen to the show live, make sure that you check out the archives at blogtalkradio.com/Dead End Sports. You can also check us out on Stitcher if you have an Android or iPhone. Just go to your application store, download the Stitcher application for free. Check for Dead End Sports, upload it, and listen at your leisure, at home or on the go. If you have iTunes, we're on iTunes. Make sure that you subscribe there. And also, we're now featured on SoundCloud. So if you have a SoundCloud, go to Dead End Sports, follow us there as well, and you can hear us at your leisure, at home or on the go. Also, if you've been hiding under a rock, guess who has the best YouTube channel out? That's us. Go to youtube.com/Dead End Sports. Watch, subscribe, and share all of our videos. We got hot sports opinions, man, and we got it right here each and every week right here on the Dead End Sports Show. Again, the phone number to call in, 646-478-0356. Tell a friend, man. Jump aboard and get on with us. We got 2 hours. To be honest, 2 hours is not enough. We're talking a lot of stuff tonight, man. We're talking the Final Four. We got NBA to talk about. We got some NFL to talk about. We got everything to talk about. We'll talk about you if we need to. Just joking. Nevertheless, pass the word. Tell a friend and tell a friend that the boys are back on the air again. So without further ado, let's get started on tonight's show, man. Like I said, we got it cracking tonight, and we want you to be a part of it. Pass the word. Of course, I will not be doing this show alone. As I mentioned at the top, I am your host, 12 Kyle. I will not be doing the show alone. I will be joined by my partners in crime. First, let's bring on the beat maker of the crew. He hails from the D, my man Beezy. What up, though?
Baking soda. I got baking soda. Hey, man,
what up, man?
What's going on? What up? What's good? Man, I'm like on cloud nine right now because I don't know if you noticed on Twitter.
I'm gonna you know what? I was gonna text you. I was like, we're gonna talk about this on the show, man, so I gotta bring. Because I saw your Facebook page like maybe about 20 minutes ago,
man.
And I was like, what? So I had to watch it. Before we jump into the big news, let's bring on the point guard of the crew, my man FIFO. FIFO, what up?
Man, look, man. look, everybody listening, goddamn Kendrick know who we are. He shouted us out.
We're going to spoil the surprise.
And that's dope as hell. And that's dope as hell.
Man, that's crazy.
Man. If you've been hiding under a rock, if you've been locked up in jail, if you've been on a cross-country tour for the last, 2 weeks or so, the hottest album in the country, I mean, everybody has talked about it. It's all over the place. It's Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. Nevertheless, probably, and it was the only album that I've ever reviewed, a current album. I actually did a podcast my damn self, an album review for an hour with myself on my show. Nevertheless, but I always reserve space for the experts, and that would be my partners right here from Dead End Hip Hop. The album review dropped. Much anticipated album review dropped. I mean, had people salivating and waiting for it, begrudgingly. It dropped on this past Friday, and so we got a chance to talk about it. And before I jump into that, man, let's bring on the man who needs no introduction. So I'm not giving him no damn introduction. My man Ken. Ken, what up?
Hey, what's good? What's good, fellas?
What's up?
Chilling, man. What's up with you?
Hey, my bad, man. My bad. I had my phone charging, and I saw you called me, man. But I was charging my phone up so I could be ready for the show.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I figured you were just getting situated for the show.
Yeah, Ken, I was just telling everybody everybody know that you guys dropped the album review, last Friday on the To Pimp a Butterfly, and we're gonna talk sports, but damn it, we're gonna talk about this right now because this is big. So I'm thumbing through Facebook, and I come across B's Facebook page. And there's a video of Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar gives Dead End Hip Hop a shout out on his video, in this interview.
Crazy.
How does that make y'all feel, man? I was like blown when I saw that.
Well, Kyle, first thing, I have to correct you. Dead End Sports has the second best YouTube channel because Dead End Hip Hop has the first best YouTube channel.
Well, I might say Dead End Sports has the best because I'm on Dead End Sports.
Oh, okay.
I feel you. All right. You're biased.
I'm biased, but hey, what the hell?
I got you. It's crazy,
go ahead, people.
Man. It's crazy, to have, the biggest hip hop person right now, in the game, just kind of just acknowledge us. That's pretty cool. I know a lot of artists, mess with us. I think it's apparent by the mixtapes and the quality content that we always try to put out. But this is different, man. This is this is Kendrick Lamar, man. And to do it on such a publication like MTV,
MTV, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, so check it out tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, MTV Jams. Your boys Dead End Hip Hop get shouted out, which is cool, and that just puts our name more out there, and that's just more opportunity for Dead End to continue to grow and expand and to do bigger and better things. That's the way I look at it, man. Just another opportunity, and it's good to be acknowledged by somebody that is considered the best. I think we're considered probably the best in hip hop right now in terms of reviews and keeping it real with musical content. So
right,
hey, so real recognize real, man, and that's pretty cool.
No doubt. What about you, Ken? What was your thoughts, man, when you found out that Kendrick Lamar gave? And I mean, and for those of you, check it out. Check out the video, and we'll post it. We'll post it on Dead End Sports, post it on Dead End Hip Hop as well, and I'm pretty sure all of us will be tweeting it. Check it out after we finish tonight's show. But what were your thoughts when you first? And keep in mind when you watch the video, it's only a 10-minute snippet of an interview that he does with MTV, but this is, I mean, like he shouts them out like in the first 2 minutes of the video. So what was your take on it when you saw it, Kim?
Yeah, I think it's dope that it doesn't get buried in the conversation, right? Because people have,
right.
Well, it's going to be on TV, so people obviously going to tune in and they're going to watch the whole thing. First, I got to shout out Rob Markman of MTV, man, for even reaching out and letting us know what was happening. And I thought that was incredibly dope. I remember when I saw the tweet come through, I called B, and I was like, yo, some major shit is about to happen. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but I had an inkling that it was related to Kendrick Lamar. But, you know, at the time it was speculative, so I didn't know, so I had to wait, and I hate waiting. So eventually I had a chance to actually talk to the guy. You know, he hit me up to everything, and, man, I just got to say, when I saw the actual video clip, it's great, and you know what, I think we wouldn't even be on there if it wasn't for Q, the sixth man on Dead End Sports. You know, and I want to point that out, because it was his tweet that spawned this whole thing, right? Because if he didn't see that, if I didn't bring it up, and if Rod take it out,
right,
we're not having this conversation right now.
That's true. And you know, it's funny when you said it on the review, everybody kind of looked at you like, really?
Right,
but it was a great point, though. And you know, I meant to tell you that the other night we were hanging out. When you said that, I never thought about that, and it gave more credence to the album.
You know, it was another layer, and I think because of the way the album is structured, I think it was something that we could actually sit and pick apart and wonder what if. And I think that was one of the things that I liked about it. But it turned out to actually be much more than that, and you know, it was dope that, because I think what we all know is that he watched it, right? So we had the tweets from the CEOs, and we know that they watched it. Top Dog and
Punch.
Yeah. Punch. Top Dog and Punch. So we know they watched it, and as typical fashion, you know, Kendrick ended up watching it. But we wouldn't have received the recognition unless that particular part was in there.
Exactly.
And that led to where we are today, to receive, you know, that from him. And, you know, I think what one of the things that you know, it's just him just giving credit. And that's what I like about Rob and Kendrick. They're giving credit where credit is due, because that was picked up. And we were the only publication to acknowledge it. So, you know, again, man, I think there's that, but then there's also us taking our time to do the review right.
Yep.
And so that matters just as much as everything else, because if we would have rushed that review out, we, again, wouldn't be having this conversation. So, you know, doing it our way, sticking to our core values, you know, the no politics, no BS, all of that stuff matters, man, and sticking to our guns. And I think all of that is important, and that's how we were able to get to where we are today, to receive that type of recognition. So it means a lot, man, and you know, I just always waited for this day. You know, there has to be somebody that's going to do it, and I'm proud and honored to say, on his level, I'm not disrespecting anybody else that has always shown us love, because we're here because of every other rapper that's shown us love. But when I'm talking about the guys that are that's on his level, the Kendricks, the Drakes, and all, yeah, those guys. They're the ones. I'm like, there's going to be a guy that's going to acknowledge Dead End. Somehow, either they're going to hate us or they're going to love us.
Right.
But I kept waiting for it to happen, and it finally happened. And I think it's good that it was him. I think it kind of makes sense, when you really look at it all, it kind of makes sense that it was him, because of all the things that he's doing for, you know, hip hop culture. So. I could go on and on, man. There's a lot, but that's pretty much, you know, all I have to say, man. Just us sticking to our values, our everything that we wanted to do, the quality that we wanted to put out and give to people, And again, wanted to shout out Q, because without that tweet, we would not be having this conversation. And I just wanted to make sure that that's known. We're receiving a lot of the props, but he deserves just as much as we do.
Yeah, shout out to Q the Six Man. I'm pretty sure he will be calling in tonight as well. Like I said, big news. So much props to you guys. Dead End Hip Hop. Shout out to everybody. My man Rob Modest Media for the editing. And if you have not seen that review, do yourself a favor and go check out that review as soon as you finish listening to tonight's show, because it is a treat. It's 30 minutes long, but trust me, does not seem like 30 minutes. I got a chance to watch it while stuck in traffic the other day. So it made the ride that much more pleasurable. If you want to talk about that, if you want to give them shout-outs, whatever you want to do, you know what we do here every Tuesday night right here on Blog Talk Radio. It is Dead End Sports. I'm your host, 12 Kyle, joined by my partners, Beezy, FIFO, and Ken. We're here up until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Switching over to sports, man, big news. We got the Final Four. The Final Four is finally set. We got Wisconsin, Duke, Michigan State, and Kentucky. the big bad boys on the block. I guess let's start there, man. Just want to get your overall thoughts from last weekend's games, man. I guess I'll start first with you, B. What stood out to you last weekend in the games that happened last weekend leading up to the Final Four?
Michigan State kicking me in my butt, kicking me in my ass for not believing in them, and I should have, because I had Michigan State losing to Virginia. I even had Michigan State getting to the Sweet 16, and hey, don't get me wrong, I'm happy as hell. Like, I can't believe Michigan State has made it this far with that squad and the type of season that they're having. So easily, right. Michigan State, both of their close victories this past weekend is like, wow. Like, I mean, I would have never thought that. I mean, hell, even Magic and Tom Izzo was kind of like scratching their head, like wow, like this is amazing. Like, if in January you would have never said that, hey, Michigan State got a chance to go to the Final Four. You would have laughed. Like, people would have thought you was joking or trying to be funny. And for them to make it, I didn't even think they was going to be good this year. I'm like, man, I don't know about State this year. I love the Floyds, but I don't know about my Spartans. But Jesus, wow, I'm just speechless. So that's like the biggest shocker for me, hands down. I mean, you want to say the elephant in the room, Kentucky, whatever. But me and FIFO called this last week. We were like, look, if a team that can possibly upset them on their bracket, it would be Notre Dame, because the way that they can stretch them boys out, and they really stretch them boys out. But Michigan State easily is the surprise of this past weekend, the way they made this run. Oh, no doubt about it, man. What about you, FIFO? What stood out to you this past weekend in college hoops?
I kind of slightly disagree with B, only for the simple fact is this. Michigan State is a surprise because you don't know what year it's going to happen, but when it starts to happen, you kind of know. Like, because the team plays just like a Tom Izzo team. They play tough, they grit it out, they play D, they get stops, they make big-time buckets. That's what they do. So, to me, it's not surprising in the sense that this is a Tom Izzo team. It's surprising in the sense that you didn't know it was going to happen. But, like, this looks like the prototypical Tom Izzo team. Kentucky, I thought was a really good game, mainly because I think that this is probably the most that they've been pushed. And I thought it was real interesting watching the coach in the press conference after the game. He looked like he almost looked relieved because right. and I could tell, just coaching, that he was extremely proud of his guys, because there was nothing else that they can do. They played a hell of a game. But when Kentucky turned it up, that's what they're supposed to do. They didn't miss any shots in the last 10 minutes of the game. And that's what champions do. They turn it up when they need to. They get stops when they need to. And I think that's why Kentucky's going to go the whole way. And I think, man, that Wisconsin game, Comiskey's he's nice, but Decker's definitely stepping up.
Oh, my God. Did you see the three Decker hit?
Swag? Wait. Swag on the end of that. And I don't even like
he did.
Word. But he has to, and I said, look at that dude right here. Man. Okay. So I think that Wisconsin's also going to push because they play Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah. So I definitely think that matchup right there, I think is going to be the most exciting. But Kentucky's going to win, man. Them boys too deep. Them boys too deep. They come off the bench with All-Americans, man. If they were
It's like no fear. It's like no fear.
And then it's on a whole nother level when Calipari's talking about that the stats that they send to the NBA scouts are not per game, are per minute, because you have so many great players that how do you really evaluate them if they could play at the next level? And it's like they're just too deep. Like they look like an NBA team just physically out there compared to their opposition, man. And
right,
it's gonna be some good matchups, but Kentucky got it.
No doubt. What about you, Ken? What stood out to you over the weekend in college basketball?
I'm with. I disagree with B2. I'm with FIFO. Mainly because of the way that game played out. Man, look, that game and that team, what they managed to do, I think was kind of special. Because they did not play. I give Notre Dame a lot of credit. They kind of forced that on Kentucky a little bit, but they didn't play good at all. And when the game started, the way Notre Dame was turning the ball over, they got the quick alley-oop. I think Kentucky was a little arrogant, and they thought they were going to run over the boys like they did Michigan State. So they didn't take them lightly until they wouldn't go away. And next thing you know, Notre Dame hit a spurt. They up 6, 59-53. What I thought was interesting about that game was just the way it ended, because it showed a lot of heart and a lot of resolve from Kentucky. But if you were sitting there watching the game, they didn't look worried at all. They had no amount of worry on their face. And that Harrison boy, man, when he hit that three, I thought it was over. I was like, oh, they about to run away with it now. And then Jaron Grant came back and popped it in their face. I was like, oh, they've got to take all the momentum away from Kentucky. They didn't panic. They did not panic. And it kind of reminded me of the Georgia game they played, where Georgia was doing everything that they wanted. Kentucky went on that massive run and put it away. But it kind of had that feel to it. But there were some interesting stats that I think is why I think this game was so interesting to me is Kentucky. They went 9 from 9 from the field. They didn't miss a bucket with 12 minutes left in the game. Notre Dame went damn near the whole 28 minutes without turning the ball over. In the last 2 minutes or so, they went 0 for 3 and turned the ball over. And Kentucky had 7 turnovers. So, it almost, you look at stats like that and you think to yourself, man, like that's the heart of a champion or a wannabe champion. And if you're able to execute and make timely plays and play through that, it showed that they have the grind and grit that they need to go all the way. So now I can see them being prepared for a team like Wisconsin, who's also going to give them a lot, I think, because Kaminsky, that boy can play. That boy can play, man. But and if you look at that Wisconsin game, they needed damn near perfect second half in order to win that game. They may not have that in Kentucky. But the last thing I want to say, man, I think Karl Anthony Towns, they don't win that game without him.
Oh, of course not.
And his 8 for 8 performance, plus hitting the free throws, which is unheard of for a big man. Yo, man, like he truly dominated the game, and they had no answers for him. They didn't double team him. They left Zach August all by himself on the island, and he just torched that boy night in and night out. And after the performance he had the game before, for him to come back and do that, and we haven't had a chance to even see what he could do. He's only averaging 10 assists. We got a chance to see what Karl Anthony Towns could do if he was the focal point of an offense. That game, I watched that game like 2 or 3 times, man, after it was aired, man, because I just couldn't believe what I saw and witnessed. They played a perfect game with 12 minutes to go, damn near.
They did.
Know what,
and
man?
they couldn't stop them.
Was that FIFO?
Go ahead, FIFO. I'm sorry.
To your point, Kentucky is ready, right? And this is the reason why. The Twins have been there before, and they lost. We all know in the NCAA tournament, you need guard play. They have 6'5" guards that can handle the rock, make timely shots, and make big free throws. We've seen that. We've seen that for 2 years now. They did it for 2 years. So yeah, they have everything that it takes. And didn't I tell y'all about Karl Anthony Towns before the season started? I said, look, the big men are coming to the NBA. They're coming. And I'm going to tell you like this. I disagree with Stephen A. Karl Anthony Towns is the best player out of this draft here. Jahlil Okafor is that dude as well. Yes, even over Okafor. I've been said it. I said Karl Towns is more versatile. In this Kentucky offense, they don't need him to shoot jumpers, but the man can shoot, the man can pass. He has the most natural feel for the perimeter game as a big man I've ever seen. And he's 18, and you haven't even seen that in college yet. I've seen that in highlights. I'm like, yo, this dude is ready. His game is NBA ready right now. Physically, he's not, but his game is NBA ready. So is Jahlil. But I'm telling you, if you give me the first pick, I'm taking Karl Anthony Towns, man. That dude is the truth.
Yeah, he got to work on his footwork, though.
Yeah. I don't think his footwork is as good as Okafor, but I mean, time will tell. We got a little time before we get closer to the draft.
He traveled a couple of times on some of those posts without like.
He did.
The refs didn't even call that. Like he stuttered his feet like a bug. I said he needs to work on his footwork. And once he would get his footwork down back, he'll be good. He'd be good.
I'm with FIFO though, man. I'm taking Towns.
I'm taking Okafor.
No, I'm just saying like he was just traveling. That's all. I'm not saying.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, he got some stuff to work on. He still got some stuff to work on.
And I think in this draft it's really going to depend on who gets number one pick, because I don't think you go wrong with either one. You have a franchise changing piece, whichever one that you take. It just depends on the team and how that team is constructed or how they want to be constructed. It depends on who goes number one, but I don't think it's a consensus. I think it's either or this year. It's either.
You know why I give Towns the slight edge? I think it has to do with his free throw shooting. It's hard to find a big man that can shoot free throws. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to skills in the low post, this was my first time really seeing Towns work in the low post for a long extended period in a game. With Okafor, man, you see him work, and that boy can do some damage down there. But I think
you know what else, Ken? His upside is greater because of his perimeter game, right? Like Jahlil's gonna dominate the post. We know that. We see it now. He's gonna dominate the NBA the same way, and he's only gonna get better. He's gonna come in and he's gonna dominate. In games, I don't know if he's going to be a every game dominate type of player, but, you're going to see flashes and glimpses. But Karl Towns has another facet to his game that I don't think Jahlil ever had. I think Karl Towns can play out at the three-point line. Jahlil is never going to be able to do that. And I think he's going to be a better rim defender. So just based off of those two things alone, I mean, he's a better player in my estimation. I think he's easier to build around when you have more weapons in your arsenal.
Yeah, I think time will tell. I think I'm going to go with Okafor just because I think he has a bigger upside. I mean, and again, like I said, I think time will tell because we still have to, hell, we may even see these two match up head to head, come Monday night. The thing that I had that I took away and I just wrote a couple of notes down from this past weekend, Wisconsin. They shot 15 of 19 in the second half, all jumpers, and they currently have in Decker and in Frank the Tank Kaminsky. They have two players averaging 20 points in the tournament. Kentucky, conversely, went 9 for 9 for the last 9 for 9 from the field for the last 10 minutes of the game. And I think not Oklahoma. I was going to say Oklahoma. I think Notre Dame had them, man, and Notre Dame had them right there. Based on what I saw, I think Notre Dame had enough to win, And I think and FIFO, you touched on a good point. I think I've said this all season long. I would like to see how Kentucky was going to react once they were in a close game against a competitive opponent with 5 minutes or less to go. And that's what we got. And I think what you said is key. They did not waver whatsoever. We were all texting each other during the game, and they did not. And I thought that was very impressive that even when they couldn't, because for a while Kentucky couldn't get over the hump as far as taking the lead. Even once they took the lead, they didn't stop. They just kept going at Notre Dame, and I think Notre Dame I think the air kind of let out of them once they relinquished the lead. Michigan State, Louisville coming into the game against Michigan State only gave up 22 points in transition over their last 10 games. Michigan State got 23 points against them on last Saturday. So that was key. And as far as Duke, only 3 turnovers for the entire game the other day against Gonzaga. I thought that was huge. If you can play like that and get up and down the court against a team like Gonzaga and only turn the ball over, like you mentioned earlier, guard play, I think that's paramount. The team that can play well together and don't turn the ball over, those are the teams that really have a good chance of winning. So those are my those are my stats or notes I came away from the weekend, man. So it's gonna be phenomenal coming up here on Saturday. The games tip off. We got Michigan State and Duke and Kentucky and Wisconsin. So let's start right there, man. By the time we hit the air next week, a national champion would have been crowned. Ken, who wins the national championship?
Well, real quickly, also Notre Dame missed some key free throws down the stretch too.
They did. They sure did.
Yeah, which was also another problem for them and left over there. I'm sticking to my guns, man. I think that the test that they got from Notre Dame was may have been a wake up call. I think they may have gotten people's attention. I think that they will be prepared to face a team like Wisconsin. So I'm gonna stick with Kentucky. So I got Kentucky winning that game and going to the championship game. Kaminsky is going to be a problem, but I mean, let's face it. Kentucky can run 3 different 7-footers at him to defend him, so they'll be okay. I don't see Wisconsin really being able to get the penetration. They may, but I don't really see them being able to get down there the way Notre Dame was able to get to the hoop and break down Kentucky that way, because I think that Calipari may have learned a lot from that game to hopefully make some adjustments, while he has time to prepare. I think they have guys that can guard Decker, and like Bray said, over 40 minutes, it just wears you out. You can't get to the rim, and eventually at some point you have to work so hard when you get there just to get a shot off, or you're altering your shot, that at some point it's just going to wear you out. And I didn't even really think about that until Bray said it. And you know how they're just able to shrink the court. So I think that, I think they'll get them. I think Towns hopefully keep his head on straight and he'll be a factor in the game. But yeah, I got Kentucky winning that game because and the other thing is they needed a special second half in order to put away Arizona, who played a heck of a game, and I thought they were going to win that too. Mm-hmm. Duke, Michigan State, man. Izzo is 1-8 against Coach K. They have Okafor, who is a problem. They have I think his name Trey Lyles. Wait, not Trey Lyles. Who's the other guy? He's a guard for Duke. And Justice. Oh my God, that guy. They have like 3 guys that are problems. But Gonzaga, they had them. They had him. The guy missed the point blank layup.
And it changed the whole game.
What?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, when he missed that layup, it went downhill from Gonzaga right there. That very moment.
So, and they were right there. I didn't have Duke in the national championship game, and while I would love to see a Duke-Kentucky finals, I'm gonna ride with the hot team, man. I'm going with Thomas. So I think this man is going to study the tape. He's going to come up with some type of game plan, and I may be reaching. And come next Tuesday, we'll know if I reached, and that's fine. Forgive me for being a prisoner of the moment, of riding with Izzo, because that team is hot. They're playing with a lot of resolve, man. Trice is balling. Valentine is balling. Is his name Dawson? Balling, man. Like, all of these guys are so locked in right now. They're making big plays. I can't go against them, man. I think there looks like there's something special here, and I'm gonna ride them out, man. So I'm gonna take them into the finals, and they're not gonna do anything with Kentucky. So Kentucky, Michigan State finals. Kentucky wins it all, and that's what I got. Understand? I'm going with my heart because I would love to see Michigan State in it, but because I'm just a big fan of Izzo. So if I get it wrong, oh well.
Okay. What about you, FIFO, man? Who plays next Monday night, and ultimately at 11:25, who's cutting down the nets?
I think it's gonna be Duke and Kentucky. I think that's what everybody wants. I think that's what the network wants. And not just because that's what they want. I just think that those are the two best teams left. Honestly, I think Wisconsin's definitely up there, but they're just not deep enough for Kentucky. They're just not deep enough. But I definitely think it's going to be Kentucky Duke, and I'm gonna go with Kentucky all the way. They're too deep. They're too big. You know, Willie Cauley-Stein. Like, I don't know if y'all watching what I'm watching, but this man switches on the perimeter, and he stays in front of smaller guards that are agile, quick. Obviously, I'm not saying he's shutting them down out there, but, man, the way he moves out there, he makes Kentucky that more versatile. And I don't know how you can beat that in college. Like, I don't think I've seen a college team that big. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know I don't watch college like that, but Kentucky's the truth, man. The boys, they done been there last year. They ready, they hungry, and they got the talent, and they got the coach. They got the swag and the pizzazz and everything, man. And Duke, they just don't have enough depth. After Jaleel, who they next big man? I'll wait. So I got Kentucky, man.
What about you, B? Who makes it, man, and who's cutting down the nets?
Kentucky. I mean, I'm going what I originally picked in my bracket. I'm going when I originally picked at the beginning of the season after they blew out Kansas, like one of their first games of the season. I was like, this Kentucky squad is unreal. This fool Calipari got 9 McDonald All-Americans on one team. That is, like, unreal. And then when the product, it was just proven, you know, on the court. One thing I will say, though, this Michigan State fiasco is, I think, is another proof of why coaching is another key factor of why it's very important in the NCAA tournament. I mean, come on, because from on paper, Michigan State, you would not have guessed Michigan State being a Final Four type of team. It just shows you the importance of coaching in the NCAA tournament. I'm just going, you know, my heart, of course, I can't stand Duke. I cannot stand Duke. I never liked the Duke as a kid. I still don't like Duke now. But my heart, of course, is going with Michigan State. Everybody I don't want Michigan State to lose to, it is Duke. But, you know, my bracket, I originally had Kentucky and Duke playing in the national championship because Duke had a freaking easy region, like they always give Duke the easy region in the bracket in the tournament. So that's the reason why I picked Duke to make it all the way. So, yeah, I got Duke, Kentucky in championship, and I got Kentucky cutting down the nets at around 11:25 this upcoming Monday.
Yeah, man. I got to go with Kentucky,
Vegas
man.
on 'em.
This dude is crazy. I got to go with Kentucky, man. I think it'll be Kentucky and Duke. I really think if you're listening to us, you really need to be in front of a TV come Saturday for both games and then Monday night, because I think we're going to see two great games that are probably going to I wouldn't be surprised if they both went in overtime. I think we're going to get two great games on Saturday. I think we're going to get a great game Monday night. I think Kentucky just has a way of wearing you down. And I think ultimately we may have to go back to the Notre Dame game and figure out that might have been the closest that they've come to getting beat. And that's not to say that Wisconsin won't stand a chance, because Decker and Frank the Tank are rolling right now. I mean, but like you said, when it's time to go to their bench, who do you go to? When Kentucky goes to their bench is stronger. Duke poses a different type of mentality, because Duke, they've got guys, who can play different. They have interchangeable pieces. So, while they won't bang with you inside, they will finesse you and they'll lull you to sleep. And they're very good in transition. So, but I'm looking forward to it, man. I think we're really, truly in store for some great games come Saturday as well as Monday night. So yeah, I'm made my bracket. I have no way of winning the brackets, but I picked Kentucky to win it all, so I'm gonna stick with Kentucky. The phone number to call in 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. You're locked in to the best place, this place where sports opinions collide, Dead End Sports. Let's jump to the phone line. Let's go to the sixth man, our boy Q. Q, what up?
What's good?
What's going on, Q?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Congratulations for that shout out, man. That was huge for y'all, man. Very, very proud, man. Very, very proud.
Appreciate it, man. That's crazy.
Great moment. Yeah, man. So, a couple things I want to talk about. Just draft talk real quick, NCAA, stuff like that. So my Sixers lost, right? And what else is new, right? We lost to the Lakers, and Lakers fans lost their mind because they wanted to lose that game so bad, because now they have a chance of losing their top 5 pick to us. And there's a very good chance that it's going to happen now, because they have the second easiest remaining schedule in the NBA. I mean, nothing is a sure thing, but it's looking like we could get that pick. It's a 50-50 chance now. And, like, before this loss, it was like a 12% chance. Now it's like 50-50. So I just want to, like, keep updating y'all that plan, the same Hickey is doing, is very well working. So just know that if we come out of this draft with any of those 2 elite point guards and a secondary player like a Justice Winslow or a Stanley Johnson at picks 3 and 6, and then not to mention we have the Miami pick at 11 and the OKC pick at 18, there's a very good chance we come out this draft with some quality players. And next year we will see Joel Embiid come back, and then the year after that we have Dario Saric coming over from the EuroLeague, who he's been leading in MVP like every month. He's been over there. So I want to give an update on that. In terms of, like, the whole Towns and Okafor, conversation, when I was scouting Okafor myself, because, I'm always, draft watching or whatever, the one thing that stuck out to me is he has a defensive, deficiency. He's not that good on defense, and his post moves, to me, they're polished for a college player, but there's a certain thing that people draft off of now. When you draft a player, you usually draft off of, okay, what can he do now, but what is his ceiling? I think Okafor's ceiling is not even close to what Karl Anthony Towns' ceiling is, because what Karl Anthony Towns is going through is the same thing that DeMarcus Cousins went through. When you look at DeMarcus Cousins, nothing about him at Kentucky, like, in my personal opinion, screamed he could be a top 2 center in the league. Nothing about him said that to me. I said, he could be a good one, but it's because the time that Calipari gave him. He only gave DeMarcus like, I believe he only played a good 18 minutes a game. That's not much because Kentucky runs a platoon system. Same thing that Karl Anthony Towns is going through. When you look at DeMarcus now, and he's one of the best top 2 big men in the league right now, top 3. So I think Karl Anthony Towns, when you look at his footwork, it needs a little work, but just the raw mechanics of what he can do, his scoring ability, the fact that he can hit his free throws, he's a threat. And teams like, the Timberwolves and teams like the Knicks, they would love to have Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, no
and I
question.
think either of them is a toss-up. I hope we get the third pick because I know Sam Hinkie would be crazy enough to just say, you know what, just bring in Karl Anthony Towns. We would have a core of Noel, Embiid, and just out of nowhere, like just crazy. I hope we get the third pick. But when it comes down to March Madness, I think my Final Four is completely trash. It's like I had Villanova, I had Arizona, I had Duke, and I had Kentucky. And I got 2 of them. Other 2 out, obviously. So when it comes down to this matchup coming up this weekend, or I think it's this week, I got Izzo, man. I think it's just time to stop doubting him. I think everyone is going to pick Duke because they have, the potential number 1 pick or whatever. But the thing about Izzo is that he makes his players believe in the defense first. He makes his players believe that you can stop any offense. There's no one who could stop us. You have the power to stop any offense. And he makes them buy into it. Same with Calipari, his defense, same thing. So I think the 2 will be Michigan State and Kentucky. And I think it's going to be a close one. I really do. If Izzo gets to the championship, it wouldn't shock me if he won it. It really wouldn't, because I believe in Tom Izzo that much. I think he's one of the most underappreciated coaches in college basketball right now.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. He's one of the most underappreciated, but he's one of the guys who consistently competing, consistently putting together great teams, and he's never really had lottery talent. He's never really had that.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I mean, he's never had, a Michigan, he's never really had Jalil, he's never had a D'Angelo Russell, and he's constantly in Elite Eights, constantly in Final Fours. And I think that it's time to stop betting against him. But Kentucky, on the other hand, they are so real. I was so salty when Notre Dame lost. I was salty because I just thought that Notre Dame had it. I thought they had it. They had it. I was heated. They had it. But going with. Go ahead, what's up?
You know what, Q? I feel you, but in a way, I kind of want to witness history. Like, to be honest with you, I didn't witness the '76 Indiana Hoosiers when they went undefeated. So I'm like more of like the. Huh? Oh.
Me and Ken did.
I didn't witness it. Y'all got some years on me. So I didn't witness it, but yeah, I'm kind of more of like.
Hey, Ken was there.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah. I want to see. I kind of want to see Kentucky go 40-0, just to say, hey, you know what? I witnessed that. Like, I saw that in my lifetime. I mean, that's just me personally. But yeah, my heart is with Michigan State. But Q, Michigan State, Tom Izzo is 1-8 against Coach K. And Tom Izzo has got blown out in the championship game before by North Carolina. So,
but that was when North Carolina was great.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This Kentucky team is pretty great too. So I don't know if it'll be a close game, man. I don't know.
You know what? The crazy thing is that when it comes to Tom Izzo, you always count him out, but he always finds a way to get back in there.
Yep.
It's probably finding a way to get back in there. Yo, just real quick, FIFO, real quick, man. I need just you to pick one. If you're the Sixers and you got the third pick, you go with D'Angelo Russell or Moutier.
FIFO.
Is he thinking? Or he on mute? Or he on mute? He probably on mute. Yeah.
No, my bad. I didn't hear you. What you say?
I said, if you have the third pick and you're the Sixers, do you take D'Angelo Russell or Emmanuel Moutier?
Moutier.
I need you to explain that.
I think that Moutier physically is more explosive. I think that's the biggest difference. To me, both of them are combo guards that can play the 1 and the 2. They can score when need be. But I just think Moutier athletically has a higher upside, which is the reason why I would take him. But I like them both. I don't think you can go wrong. I think the top 4 picks, which I think is the 2 big men and then them 2, you can't go wrong with whoever you get. Like, if you get 1 or 2 of them guys, you're going to be all right.
I feel you. Oh, that's really all I got for this week, man. I just wanted y'all to know that Danny Hip Hop, I've been watching that for years, watching that for about, this is probably my 4th year watching it, and every little bit of success I enjoy seeing it happen. You know, I'm glad that I could contribute regardless of how small or how big it is, regardless. I'm glad that I could be a part of anything to contribute to y'all, and y'all deserve it, man, because this is one of probably my favorite YouTube channel. And it's probably my favorite other YouTube channel that is sports. So, shout out to y'all. And, Mike, stop doubting me, man. Simple as that,
Appreciate you, Q.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Q. As always, man. Thanks for calling in, man. We definitely appreciate the love, brother.
All right, man. Have a good week.
All right, you too, bro. Peace. Phone number Q, call 646-478-0356. Let's keep it jumping, man. We got the phone lines cracking off. Let's go to 831. 831, you're on with Dead End Sports. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's good, y'all?
You got a dog in the background. Who's this?
Nico. Oh, sorry, my dog.
Nico, what's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing? Shout out to Q. Shout out to y'all for getting on the Kendrick thing. That was awesome. I just saw it a couple minutes ago before the show started. That's crazy, y'all. As a fan for like the last 4 or 5 years, like Q was, man. That seeing y'all grow from where y'all were then to where y'all now, like I still remember Hip Hop Minute. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Oh man. Oh damn. Yeah, you was there for. You've been riding with us for a minute then. Shit.
Wow.
I know,
yeah,
right?
So, it's awesome. It's awesome to see how y'all grown. But to the Final Four, man, my heart says Wisconsin because they're on fire right now, especially the way Decker's playing. Because Decker's been playing the way he did against Arizona the whole tournament. I don't know if you guys saw the Coastal Carolina game, but every single time, even though it was a 1 versus 16, but every single time Coastal Carolina tried to get a little momentum, Decker would just hit a 3 and just walk off like it was nothing. So I think they have a good chance of beating Kentucky. And even though Kentucky has more depth, I think considering it is a tournament game, that a lot of those things kind of, don't matter as much like the NBA playoffs. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. But on the other side, I got Izzo. Travis Trice, he's actually from my hometown in Ohio, so I got a little bit of a bias towards Michigan State right now. So that's I got – my heart says Wisconsin and Michigan State because I think that'd be a better title game. But I think at the end of the day, Kentucky's probably going to go against Michigan State. And as I don't really want that to happen because I feel like Michigan State would get blown out.
Right. Yep. So you think Duke Kentucky is the better matchup?
I think it's the better matchup, and I'm kind of upset that Wisconsin won't. I wish Wisconsin and Kentucky was a title game personally, but
okay. I think there's going to be a hell of a matchup, Nico. I really do. I think people are, and not us on the phone, but I think people are really, really sleeping on this Wisconsin team, man. And I think, for all we've talked about Coach K, and we've talked about Calipari, we've talked about Izzo, of course, Bo Ryan, man, damn good coach. And his teams, the one thing I like about this team, and not just this team in particular, but all of Bo Ryan's teams, they never beat themselves. If Kentucky wins, it'll be because Kentucky's a better team, not necessarily because Wisconsin beat themselves. So I think that's going to be key come Saturday.
Yeah, I can see that. But one thing that was different with the Arizona game for Wisconsin is Wisconsin did something that they never did all season. That was foul the way they did. They averaged, 7 fouls per game, and they had 14, 15, something like that against Arizona. That's the only reason Arizona was still in the game, because they were getting so many shots from the free throw line. So I think if they can go back to playing the way they usually do throughout the season and not foul as much, they're going to have a much better chance of beating Kentucky than I feel like some people are giving.
Well, you know what Calipari says, right? He says, and he said this. One of the commentators said it. He says that he doesn't substitute. He brings in reinforcements. So
I know, who says that, dude? That's crazy.
So yeah, I hear what you're saying about the bench and maybe Calipari using a shorter rotation, but he doesn't have to. The five that he has on the bench can start against Wisconsin's five. I mean, let's just keep it real. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So anyway, I think they will have a slight, because the two guards they have on the bench, man, the boys can shoot. Ulis hit a huge three in that game when they were down 6, and the other guy,
Booker, I think. Are you talking about Booker?
Yeah, Booker. Yeah.
He's a good 3-point shooter too.
Yeah, so they bringing in offense off the bench. You already have experience with the Harrison twins and their size, so he has so many options. But I guess it's going to come down to coaching. I think it's going to depend on what.
Took words right out of my mouth, Ken. And I think one thing that you have to remember too that I think bodes well for the better coach is that these teams, you know, they're all from different conferences, so it's not like they see each other during the regular season. You know, so that's when scouting really comes into play. You know, how can you break down film? How can you gain some type of competitive advantage and exploit maybe what, you know, another team is doing?
I know they don't play each other during the season, but they did play. I think there's a little bit of a revenge factor for Wisconsin because they're tired just seeing because that shot from Harrison last year just. I don't know if you all remember watching the game, but when that shot went in, I looked at Wisconsin's bench, and it was the most demoralizing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, man, it's tough when you battle and you're playing that hard, and then a guy just steps up and to be honest, prior to hitting that three, Harrison really wasn't playing that great of a game, you know, technically speaking. But he hit a couple of big shots, got that drive going to the basket, and next thing you know, Kentucky's back up, and I think, like I said earlier, the wind kind of left their sails after that, man. They were just, Notre Dame was just a little dejected, and I don't know if they could have gotten over that hump. Much like Gonzaga, when that guy missed that layup, that bunny. I mean, he was right there at the rim when he missed that layup. I think they went like on a 6-0 run after that. Duke did, and the game never got any closer. So, you know, sometimes, man, it's the little things. It's the little things, and those little things, when you pay attention to detail, you know, could be the deciding factor in winning a national championship come Monday night.
Yeah, I agree. Going to Q's question, Sixers got to take D'Angelo. I think it's a no-brainer. I think there's a lot of X factors when it comes to getting players from overseas. I think the other guy's overseas, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that's just where I'm at right there. I don't know, because I'm an Ohio State fan, so I've been watching D'Angelo play a lot.
No, and I feel you, but Moutier is American. He just didn't qualify for college, which is the reason.
Yeah, he was playing overseas.
Yeah, so he was balling before he twisted his ankle. Like the dude's, I think, averaging in like 23 over there. You know what I'm saying? So he's immensely talented. I think they both are. I just think that Moutier's ceiling is just a little bit higher due to athletic ability, and that's not taking anything away from D'Angelo Russell. But you know, when you're blessed, where you didn't have to work for something and you know how to use it, that gives you an unfair advantage. Just ask Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
I
thanks
also
for calling
agree.
in, Nico. Go ahead, real quick.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say I also agree. I think FIFA said it. Carl Anthony Towns I think is much better than Jahlil Okafor. I think he's got way higher upside. Just because I think we've seen, you know, where Jahlil Okafor's ceiling will be, but we haven't seen Carl Anthony's mid-range game, and I think that's one thing he hasn't shown us just because the system he's in.
Hey, time will tell, and we could see them go head-to-head come Monday night, man. It's definitely going to be worth looking out for. Hey, as always, man, we thank you for calling in, Nico, man. We appreciate it, brother.
All right, man. You guys have a good one. Congratulations on the shout-out.
Thanks.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Phone number Nico, call 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. Now let's turn our attention to the pro game. We have 1 hour down and got another hour to go. You're locked into the best sports talk show on the air, the place with sports opinions, Clyde. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, 12 Kyle. Joined by my partners, Beezy, Ken, and FIFO. Hit us up, 646-478-0356. This next subject, man, I'm not going to lie. I ain't even really want to talk about it. I really didn't want to talk about it, man, because it sounds so gossipy and sounds so like seventh grade-ish. It took me back to Williams Middle School. Shout out to Williams. LeBron James and Kevin Love, man. There's been speculation these past, few weeks that and I hate using the word beef, but there's been speculation about the fact that LeBron and Kevin Love don't necessarily get along. Now, we've all seen LeBron for the last 4 years be very, very close to Dwayne Wade. And they've been, they were like Batman and Robin. They were inseparable. They hung out off the court. They hung out together on the court, yada, yada, yada. And they even brought Chris Bosh into the mix. Kyrie and LeBron are developing a very good relationship on the basketball court as well as off the basketball court. At some point in time last week, some Cleveland Cavaliers players took a selfie or something like that and on the plane, and Kevin Love wasn't in the picture. And Kevin Love had some choice words a few weeks ago when a reporter asked him, I think he was on either Dan Patrick or Mike and Mike, and they asked him about the MVP, if he had an MVP vote. Kevin Love said he thought that Russell Westbrook should get the MVP vote. And he came back and right behind it he said, well, and I think, LeBron is definitely deserving and James Harden is deserving and Steph Curry is deserving. He said, but I give it to Westbrook. Keep in mind that Love and Westbrook played together in college at UCLA. That being said, there's some speculation about the fact that they don't necessarily get along. Kevin Love said, they don't hang out off the court. They go their separate ways, but he's like, they have a good relationship. So that got me to thinking, and it's been the talk probably for the last week and a half, and we didn't even get to it last week, but I wanted to throw this out to you guys. And FIFO, I'll start first with you. 2-part question. Do you think LeBron and Love need to get along to win a title? And then the second part is, do you think that Cleveland as a whole has enough to win the title?
Man, Kyle, honestly, man, look, we've been doing this Dead End Sports shit for a minute, man. This is like the 2 easiest questions you've ever asked me. Honestly, I'm just saying. But look, when it comes to LeBron and K Love, I don't have to like you. You just need to respect me. We just need to have mutual work relationship respect. Everybody that I work with, I don't have to like, but I respect you as a professional. And I'll ask of you things that I really expect, and you should ask of me as you expect as well. And as long as we have that understanding and everybody does their job, then guess what? We're going to have a symbiotic relationship that is going to probably commence in a championship run. Now, with the second part of the question, do they have enough? Hell yeah, they have enough. What are you talking about? Since the All-Star break, this is the number 1 offense in the NBA. People, they're sleeping on that. Defensively, they're middle of the pack, but for the majority of the season, they've been way down below. So now they're middle of the pack defensively. They are number 1 offensively. LeBron and Kyrie are currently on a tear, and K Love is averaging 17 and 10. That is excellent for a third wheel. We're talking about a guy that has played in the front court with Anderson Varejao, Tristan Thompson, and Timothy Mozgov, right? All these guys are rebounders. They're known for rebounding. And K Love is still getting double-digit rebounding. Now, does it look pretty every night? No, but this is the first year. It's a work in progress. But guess what? they're too talented and they're too prototypical at every position not to be able to compete night in, night out. And then their two best players are better than your two best players on every team in the NBA right now. So, yeah, Cleveland definitely has enough.
Okay. Ken, your take on it, man. Do they have to get along to win a title? And do you think they have enough to win a title?
Yeah, of course I think they have enough to win a title. Do you have to get along? I think it helps. I don't know if it's a crucial element to winning a title because I think when it comes down to you focusing on that one goal, as long as the two guys that don't get along are locked in on achieving that one goal, they'll get along on the court and do what's needed to be done. Now, that being said, I do think that team chemistry is an important factor to being able to endure the hard times in the playoffs. But as long as everybody's on the same page and focused on that one goal, I think it's not a necessity. And really it all comes down to the coach. The coach has to make sure that the players, even the ones that are not getting along, are all focused on achieving, the quest of winning a title. Now, as far as talent, they have more. They have enough right now, man. The moves they made during the season to bring in J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert, and we already know what Tristan Thompson can do in Mozgov. I think that was what they needed to kind of help push them to the point to where they can contend for a championship. And in all honesty, if they come out of the East, depending on who they match up with, I would say they could probably win it now. I have to see who they'll match up with, though, so don't hold me to that. Like, if they're matching up against the Spurs, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? But if they get any, and maybe even Golden State, because, they've been playing together for a while. But I think anybody else can get got, coming out of the West. And they have a winning record against the West, which is the gold standard in the NBA right now. And that's what people use as a measuring stick for teams in the East. So that being said, having the record, having the talent now, and having Irving and LeBron playing at the high level that they are, and having a guy that they haven't even fully figured out a way to implement into their system, still putting up 17 and 10, yeah, they got more than enough. Now, once they get him going, oh man, I think they'll be damn near unstoppable. Now they have to improve defensively. But Mozgov is cluttered up the middle, and we all know Shumpert kind of makes his living off defending guys on the perimeter, and the wing. So, I think they'll be fine, man. We just got to see how the rest of the year plays out. Can they go in with a bit of momentum, and, and can they stay healthy? Because Kevin Love has, he's had some health issues. And because of those health issues, I think that's also going to be why I'm kind of leaning towards him returning in the off season, because I don't know if anybody. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to it. But anyway, to answer your question, I think they'll be okay.
What about you, B? Do they have to get along to make it work? And do you think that they have enough to get it done?
Oh man, this chatty patty issue. Shout out to Q, man. Q, he tweeted me, and I was like, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I said, man, this is so chatty patty. I can't believe that the NBA, the media is really like talking about this, like hyping this up or making.
But you know what, B? Is it the NBA?
The little Instagram picture. Okay, big deal. Kevin Love wasn't in it. Whoop-de-doo. There's a lot of other teammates that wasn't in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why just only point out Kevin Love? Why not say, LeBron didn't take a full team photo? Why he didn't Instagram a full team photo? Chatty patty. And then plus, to answer your question about do players need to get along, let's not remember Shaq and Kobe. Every time they win a championship, going to the off season, they'd be bickering, telling each other, telling who's cheating on who's doing what. Oh, he's too fat, he's out of shape. And then they come the following season to win a championship. So, I mean, that proof right there, players don't have to get on. Like people said, as long as you respect each other within that 94 by 50 feet line, And when it's time to take care of business, that's all that matters. I mean, that's all that matters. You don't have to go. I don't have to go play cards at your house every weekend, or I don't have to do all this. If I respect you enough to say, hey, look, when I'm on the court, we our main goal, we got the same goal, and it's to win a championship, win these games. Then I'm all for it. I don't have to get along with you. It was dudes that I played high school ball with. I got along with pretty much most of my teammates, but it was one of our stars. I didn't really get along with him that much. But when we played basketball, we both had a common goal, and that was to win games. So I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we jumped and laughed and stuff and during games, but after the game was over, it was like, you know, whatever, get on her last name or whatever. You know, it's just like whatever. So I mean, I don't think you have to get along with a person.
Right.
You know, long as that common goal is the same and y'all have that mutual respect on the basketball court or football field or baseball or whatever you do, it doesn't matter, man. All that other stuff is chatty patty.
I agree, man. Like I said, I felt the need to bring it up, man. I think, let me answer the question. I think they have more than enough to win. I don't think they're going to win, but but that's not the question. I think they have more than enough to win it all. Anytime you have LeBron James, I mean, you can take LeBron James and I mean, LeBron James went to the finals with Eric Snow. I mean, so he surely can't go with Kyrie and Kevin Love. As far as Kevin Love's production, people threw out some stats, but one stat that kind of took me by surprise was that Kevin Love is only averaging 7 minutes in the fourth quarter, and which speaks to the point where I don't, and like Ken said, I don't even want to jump into it too much into it. We'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure the summer gets closer and closer, but I don't think Kevin Love's coming back. For one, he's not being utilized the way that he would like to be utilized in this offense, the David Blatt's offense. And Kevin Love wants max money, and David Blatt's already come out and said he's not a max player. So when you add all of that up, and I'm pretty sure there'll be more than a few teams, one being the Lakers, lining up to fatten his pockets, he's going to leave, especially if he can get his hands on a ring. That being said, as far as getting along, no, you don't have to get along. I mean, you guys play basketball, so I know it's a little bit different dynamic because it's not as many players. I play football, so it was so many dudes on the team. There's no way that you can be close to everybody on the team. I mean, if you had, I mean, like, and when I was thinking about the show, like, at any given moment, I had, especially in college, you had 80, 85, maybe 90 guys on a team. So if you actually knew everybody by name, that was good. So, but you weren't going to be friends with everybody. I mean, I have teammates that live here in Atlanta, and when I see them, it's all love. But I'm not going to call them up and say, hey, let's have a beer. I mean, it's just not. We don't have that kind of relationship. But like you said, it goes back to I trusted them on Saturdays, and that's all that matters. Yep. I knew that when the ball was kicked off, they would be ready. They'd have my back, so forth and so on. We represent our school. And so LeBron and Kevin Love don't. And part of it is the media, but I think somewhat they're both feeding into it. Like I saw a quote today from LeBron, and the quote he said that he only has 3 friends in the NBA, and everybody else is just teammates. And his 3 friends were Chris Paul, Carmelo, and, of course, Dwayne Wade. And that's fine, but I think especially when, and I don't know if, here's the thing, I don't know the text of the conversation, but that was the quote. So when you're LeBron and you make that kind of statement, you know, they're going to run with it. Oh, he said, you know, Kevin Love is Kevin Love and everybody else are just teammates. And that's fine. He doesn't have to be. I mean, LeBron is a kind of different kind of cat because he's still boys with the same dudes he went to high school with. So, and he doesn't really, you know, he has a very small circle. And obviously he lets very few people in this circle, including his teammates. And that's okay. I think where this could be problematic for Cleveland, if they get into a 6 or 7 game series with Atlanta or Chicago, or in the finals against the Spurs or somebody, or Golden State or somebody like that, and all of this stuff festers, and they bring it back up. And LeBron being there before, he knows how to handle this type of stuff. Kevin Love, not as much. So I think that could kind of play with his head. I'm not worried about LeBron. It's Kevin Love that I'm worried about as far as can he handle this, because that's all. Like you said, it's chatty. It shouldn't even be played out. I mean, So what? He wasn't in the picture. Maybe he was in the bathroom. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though.
I think you know what? I don't have an issue with the conversation because of everything that took place in the off season of trading Wiggins to bring in Love, and then this happens. It may be viewed as chatty patty, I get all of that, but this has kind of been going on for a while now, and you look up and you're kind of wondering, like, what's up with Love? But then, to B's point, there was another picture where Love that was out there that Love was in the picture, and nobody brought that up. So it just depends on, what circumstances are taking place at that particular time. And back to Kevin Love possibly leaving Cleveland to go to L.A., if he can't handle this, he damn sure can't handle L.A., because L.A., the Lakers, the L.A. media ran Dwight Howard out of town because he could not handle it. And Kevin Love is having a tough time adjusting to the type of media. So if you sign for max dollars, hey, his pockets will be fat, and he may be content with going home with a fat paycheck and tolerating the media. But if the media with him playing with LeBron is giving him problems, if he goes to L.A. and get a max contract, they are going to expect him to put up L.A. type production.
Of course. And maybe Kevin Love feels like, he could do that because he may be utilized a little bit better than he's being utilized in David Blatt's system. And time will tell. I mean, we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I think it's a very interesting discussion because, because we know we're getting closer and closer to playoff time, and come playoff time, everything's scrutinized. It just is, and that's just, and here again, it goes back to a point that we made on a video a couple of months ago. Come playoff time, this is something totally new for Kyrie, something totally new for Kevin Love. LeBron's been there. He's got some guys on his team that's been there. I thought it was interesting that the guy, what's the guy's name, Brian Windhorst, that he said he actually came out and said LeBron doesn't trust Kevin Love. I think now that's where I draw the line, because you don't know that. I mean, he's very close to LeBron. I will say that much, but how do we know that? He said in a game situation he trusts James Jones more than he trusts Kevin Love. How do you know that? I don't know that you know that. So, I mean, and that's where I think, it's kind of like the sensationalism of the media kind of stirring the pot a little bit. We don't know that. Time will tell.
Well, he's been to war with James Jones, though.
That's true. So
and Mike Miller.
And Mike Miller, right. That's a good point. So, I thought the need to bring it up just because it's been in the news. And again, today LeBron said something that he probably, I don't knock him for saying it, but he's got to know that that's going to be the headline. LeBron is only friends with Carmelo, CP3, and D. Wade. I mean, so what? I mean, who cares? Who cares who his friends are? I mean, it doesn't matter. 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356 is the phone number to call. I am your host, 12 Kyle. This is Dead End Sports, joined by my boys, Beezy, Ken, FIFO. Hit us up, 646-478-0356. As mentioned, we're talking NBA, and we're getting closer and closer to the NBA playoffs. So I wanted to kind of throw some things out there to you guys just to bounce off, because, as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season, everybody's making a push. You have some teams kind of taking their foot off the gas a little bit, like the Hawks and, Spurs and everybody who are kind of resting players. And I'm looking at the standings now. So I'm going to throw out a couple of teams to you guys, and you tell me if these teams are pretenders or contenders. Ken, the Chicago Bulls, are they pretenders or are they really legit contenders?
Pretenders. Yeah, they're pretenders. I mean, they don't have Derrick Rose, and as much as it, and I think he needed a full season to round into playoff form, and without that, I don't see them doing much in the playoffs.
Okay. So let me add a caveat. Let's assume we get Rose back and we get the same Rose that we got earlier this season. You still not buying Chicago?
Nope. Chemistry will be, I think, an issue, and I think Derrick Rose, he was having a bit of a problem trusting, his teammates. He had better players around him, and Meritage, that boy can play now. Paul Gasol can play. We all know that these guys, the Jimmy Butler, he can play. Yeah, we all know what Noah can do. So he has help. I don't know if he's at a point now, especially without the playing time, to where he feels like he can trust the help. And he may resort to trusting them more when he comes back because of because he's coming off of, his injury, but that remains to be seen. So for right now, I'll just mark them in the pretender category.
Okay. You know what, Ken, man, I disagree. I disagree, bro.
That's my man, FIFO.
This is the reason why I disagree. Because Derrick Rose is already back to full contact 5-on-5 practice right now. So going into the playoffs, I just think that the way that the Bulls play most effectively is when you play through Joakim Noah at the high post. If you get the same D Rose back, that's fine. But the thing is that you can't play pick and roll basketball with D Rose and win your way to a championship. D Rose is not that guy no more. The best way that the Bulls play is with Joakim being the point man and playing off of him. Let him and Gasol get established with the high-low. Also the rubs when Mike Dunleavy's come and they rub and Joakim has the ball, he just hands it off, sets an automatic pick. That gets the ball moving better. And then D Rose and Jimmy Butler can go get their own shots when need be. But the best way that they play is that way. And I just think that that's an adjustment that Thibodeau has to make. Hey, D Rose, we're gonna run less pick and roll. Like the offense isn't gonna start with you, but you can score out of this. Just be aggressive with it. So I just think it's more of a tactical thing. But I think that they do have enough. I think that they're the third best team, and I think you got to take them seriously because defense travels, and Gasol has had some 40-20 games this season, back-to-back 40 games.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Are you serious right now? Gasol's a two-time champion, Ken. So and then you're talking about Meritic is a EuroLeague MVP. If you're the best player in the second league in the world, you could come in the NBA and play. You might not be the MVP of this league, but you can play, bro. And he's showing that, and that's why I think he's Rookie of the Year, because he's doing it in meaningful games, in meaningful minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the depth. Man, look, and you know you're going to play hard. I'm not saying that they're just going to pull it all together, but what they have, it travels. They play defense. They can get easy buckets. It's just the style of play has to change a little bit, how you initiate the offense. That's the only thing that needs to change.
Okay. Conversely, let me throw one at you, B, before we jump back to the phone lines. LA Clippers, man, pretenders or contenders?
Ooh, contenders. I say they contenders. I think we kind of said. I kind of said that last week. Why they contenders? As long as nothing happened to Blake Griffin again during the playoffs where he's out or anything like that. But if he's back and he's rolling, because we already saw what Chris Paul was able to do to keep the team afloat when Blake Griffin was out, him and DeAndre Jordan. So, and then J.J. Redick's back shooting the ball real good. So if they clicking and Blake Griffin get back to his Blake Griffin form, I can see them contenders for real. Because I originally picked them, I think, to come out the West in September when we did our preview stuff. So I got them as contenders still.
Okay. And let me throw in the you, Ken, before we jump to the phone lines.
FIFO, you got FIFO.
I'm sorry, FIFO. Yeah, FIFO. The Washington Wizards, FIFO, pretenders or contenders?
Pretenders.
Yep.
They not.
I don't know why too.
And this was a team. This was a team that was really hot. A couple months ago.
They was.
But you know what?
I think if he would have asked us that question in January, we would have said they was contenders. But I don't know what happened with it. Yep.
But you know what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The early part of the season was very easy for them. If you go and look at the matchups were easy, so they got off to a good start, but they weren't able to sustain it because now they got targets on their back. Typically, that's what happens to teams, and especially like they've dealt with a lot of injuries to key players. Like they've been out for a while. So like you mix all of that in, and then the rumors of the coach losing the locker room. That's why I said I had to keep Ja Wall off of my top 5 because I feel like as a superstar, you should rise past that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we can go on a 5-game win streak because I'm willing us because you're a superstar. Even if you're a pass first guy, you can still do that. And he wasn't able to like overcome that. And I think that's an issue. But I think that the future is still good. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
But he won a playoff series though.
Yeah. But they need a 3. That's their problem. That's the weak link in the armor. They need a bigger perimeter guy that can do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have that. Like Paul Pierce is nice, but come on, man, he's
not that guy.
Guy. Otto Porter was a nice draft pick for need, but he's not necessarily planning out. They got Glenn Rice Jr. Nobody's the answer, and that's what they need. They need an answer right there. So come home, KD.
They truly do.
Come home, KD.
They truly do. 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. Hey, shout out to our boy Jock, man. He said the Bulls are definitely contenders. He said Ken has lost his damn mind. Let's jump to the phone lines, man. Let's take it to the. Let me see. Wait a minute. I just had it pulled up.
Let me get soda.
Our boy AJ. AJ, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Chilling. What's up with you?
Not much, man. I was looking forward to the night show, man. You hear all kinds of shit in the barbershop, man. I was in the barbershop today, and apparently they think Kevin Love just, might just be uncomfortable around black people.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that's why he's complaining. And apparently him and Amon Shumpert and some other guys are kind of, not necessarily according to reports, you can take that with a grain of fucking salt.
Yeah.
But apparently they're just not getting along. Yeah, man, but, I wanted to make sure to give y'all congrats on that Kendrick shout-out, man. I know y'all are happy. Hopefully Big Sean will watch our video and learn some shit, because that album was fucking horrible. So many corny lines.
I didn't go any further than the review, man. The review
not
was
very boss-like. Not very boss-like. Not boss-like whatsoever. But, on the big and better things. I know y'all were talking about the Wizards, down here through the grapevine is apparently they're trying to get their coach fired. And that's
who's the coach?
Yeah,
Whitman,
kind
right?
of why they're slipping. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently that's kind of why they've been slipping like they have. I don't know what happened. They looked great pre-All-Star break, and they were kind of surprising some teams. And then I went to see a couple of games live. They looked great. And then, I don't know, they just kind of fell apart. I personally think Bradley Beal's underachieving. Like, that was my guy, but he's just not. I don't know, man. I just know when the year started, they had them. They were talking about them as if they were like one of the best backcourts in the NBA, and I'm just not seeing it from him. John Wall.
Injuries will do that though. Injuries will derail you, even like little lingering ones and stuff, man. It's just unfortunate, but I think he'll grow. Because you're right, man. He's still young. At the end of the day, these guys are still young. They're still young, and they're already pretty good. So they're going to still continue to mature. I don't think it's a regression. I just think it's a lot of injuries. And that happens sometimes, Look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry had ankle injuries all, throughout the beginning of his career. And look at the contract he signed. He signed 4-year, $44 million, $11 million a year. And look at the type of production you're getting out of him now. He's going to get a max deal. He's the most popular player in the NBA. So not saying that is the trajectory of Bradley Beal, but I'm just saying he's still young. So, he still has time. He still has time.
Yeah, but
what else you got, AJ?
Since we're talking about injuries and young guys and max contracts coming up, obviously the big stories are kind of lingering for the last few months is Kevin Durant. He's hurt, and there are rumors going around what the Suns are going to do with him. The owner basically came out and said we'd be dumb to trade him or get rid of him, because of his injuries and things like that. I'm not so much focused on where he's going, but if you just listen to some of the older pros and the veterans and the guys who are retired, you know, they make his injury seem pretty serious and, you know, really like long-term lasting. So I guess I just wanted to ask you guys, you know, just in your opinion, because I keep hearing shades of Yao Ming here. What do you see from a health standpoint for Kevin Durant in the future? Like, do you guys think he'll come back to his MVP form, or will he kind of, you know, maybe end up like Derrick Rose?
That's a great question, man. I just real quick, I think, and I'm a huge fan. I love watching this dude play. I think you have to keep in mind that I don't compare him to Yao, because keep in mind, as tall as Yao was also like 285, 300 pounds. Not fat, but, I mean, he was carrying a lot of weight. Kevin Durant is, you know, rail thin. So, you know, it's not the same. I think one of the things, just from a historical perspective, basketball, especially tall basketball players who have feet the last two things you want to have wrong with you as far as injuries are concerned in basketball are your feet and your back. And then, you know, when you think about it, over the last few years, when you factor in the Olympics and all stuff like that, and his playoffs and stuff, he's logged a lot of minutes, and for a lot of years, you know, for a long time. And keep in mind, Kevin Durant is, 26, 27 maybe? I think he'll come back, and I'm hoping and praying that he comes back with no problem. From what I understand, they're putting a screw in his foot and everything like that. He's supposed to be back to normal, and we should see the same KD that we've been seeing for the last 5 or 6 years. But, you know, there's always that other side of an injury. Hopefully we don't get a chance to see it. But I think just based on what I've heard, and I've heard probably about as much as you have or anybody else listening, I think he'll be okay. But there is a concern because, you know, it's not like a knee. You know, D-Rose, for all the hell we gave D-Rose about his knee, it's a knee. You know, not to say you can't play without a knee, but, I mean, your feet, I mean, if you don't have – and he has great footwork, too, so he's not someone who is but I think his frame actually helps him because he's not carrying a lot of weight. So I hope that we get the same old KD back. I don't want to see him go out like that, but I know a foot injury and a back injury are two things you don't want as a basketball player.
Yeah, it's not like he's really re-injuring anything. They're kind of just like playing with stuff. Like I mean, this all started with him saying he's showing some discomfort, so we want to just loosen the screw or something. And next thing you know, he's out indefinitely. Right. So,
and to be honest, AJ, I think they knew a couple of weeks ago that it was going to come to this, but they didn't want to set off any alarms. And he still had some soreness and stuff in his foot, so that made it that much tougher. And then because think about it, a couple of weeks ago they said, oh, well, he'll be back in a week. And then a week turned to 2 weeks, and then they came out and said, well, we're going to shut him down. I think they knew back then they were going to shut him down. They just wanted to kind of see what was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think he'll come back. I think he'll be fine. I think, and a lot of that, the reason why I think they're taking the right approach to him and shutting him down for the year, giving him plenty of time to enter into rehab and recover, because it is a foot injury. You want to make sure that it's going to be strong and good to go when the season starts. So, comparing him to Yao Ming, I think is a bit much. I understand why people are doing it, but Yao Ming wasn't athletic like Kevin Durant, so he really kind of used to moving around, like that. So Kevin Durant has been playing in his particular frame, obviously his whole life. So his body has adjusted and is able to play that way. He just messed up his foot, and they got to get it right. Now, hopefully what we don't want to see, of course, is him turn into Derrick Rose, where it's one issue after another because he's overcompensating for different areas, using different areas of his body. And I think by them shutting him down, I think we could, I think they may be able to avoid that.
Hey, as always, AJ, man, we thank you for calling in, brother. We definitely appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Hey, but make sure y'all do us a favor, man, all of us fans. I know y'all about to get mad press and mad famous. Just stay away from Puffy, man. That nigga is evil. He'll have you promoting demonic shit. Just stay away from him, man, please.
Bad boy, take that. Hey, thanks, AJ, man. We appreciate it, man.
No problem, brother. Take it easy, yo.
Peace. Phone number AJ, call 646-478-0356. We got full phone lines. Let's get to them, man. Let's go to Beantown, our boy Ryan. Ryan, what's up, man?
What up, Kyle? What up, guys? Salute on that shout-out.
Hey, what's up? Appreciate it, man.
What's going on, man? Thanks.
Oh, man, I just saw that like half an hour ago. I had no idea, and I was going all over the place. You were trending a little bit. They're in the search queue, Dead End Hip Hop Kendrick. I was just like, damn, they made it.
Hell no.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been a long-term, not to get too long into it, but I've been a long-term fan for like 4 years watching, and it's been really dope. And that's huge. Salute, man. That's awesome.
No doubt. What you got for us tonight, Ryan?
Actually, to continue that question about pretender, contender, I actually wanted to throw this out because you read my damn mind, Kyle. I was going to ask about the Mavericks and the Grizzlies.
Ooh, okay. So you want to go pretenders, contenders with the Mavericks and the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
FIFA, why don't you jump on that one first, man?
Which one? Give me the question again.
Pretenders or contenders? The Grizzlies and the Mavericks.
Grizzlies, contenders, Mavs, pretenders. I'll give you the pretenders first, the Dallas Mavericks. I like Dallas, but in all honesty, I don't think that they're deep enough, and the West is too deep for them.
Yeah.
I don't think that everything is working the way that Carlisle will have it working next year. Next year it'll be a better oiled machine, and also they'll have a deeper bench, and therefore I think they'll be way better next year. And I think next year they'll definitely be contenders, depending on how Dirk holds up. But he understands that he's the third or fourth best player now, and all he has to do is just dominate games, make it to the playoffs healthy, and just be Dirk for a month. Like, he can do that. He's Dirk Nowitzki. So. But the contenders, Memphis, man, these boys are for real. They are very balanced, and that's the thing that I like. And they start inside out, and they can play outside in now. Jeff Green has transformed that team. He makes it perfect. And then Vince Carter, man, I think we really have to consider him Hall of Fame, especially if he's able to get a chip in his later, in the later career and actually contribute to a championship contender, man. But I just love what the Grizzlies do, how they play. And they play playoff basketball, so they're already tested, and that they're hungry, which is the reason why they have the second best record in the West. Like they're really playing like that, and they've made some smart moves, and I think they're gonna be a tough out.
No doubt. I think the Grizzlies are a team that not a lot of people talk about because they're not flashy. Yeah. They're in the West, and to be honest, Ryan, they don't get a lot of TV time. So
not at all.
The majority of the general public won't see the Grizzlies until the playoffs come, and they've got this really rugged style. But if you enjoy basketball, or if you watch basketball much like most of us in the '80s. They're throwback, man. They're throwback, and they get in your face and they play defense, and they play hard. I mean, every time you see them on TV in a game, those guys leave it on the court. And I think when we talked about it ad nauseum last year, I think they were one bad call away from advancing in the playoffs last year, and possibly a team that could have given San Antonio a run for their money. So. I think they're definitely contenders. They could depending on how things match up, they could come out of the West. I agree with FIFA. I'm not really sold on Dallas. I'm not really sure what's going on in Dallas. I think Dallas was, they seem to be on the right path. Once they got Rondo, then things kind of went south. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I think I think bringing Rondo in didn't work out, and apparently, and I'm seeing that Monte Ellis is, you know, he's having issues. So, you know, and it goes back to that chemistry thing that we were talking about earlier. And you know, I don't know exactly what, you know, the source or what was going on with him, but maybe he didn't like them bringing in Rondo. You know, even though you know, I would think he would see that as a benefit to him. But so that could be a possibility. So I think there's some there's some discord there with Dallas, and I think that that's what's leading to us basically saying that they're pretenders. Memphis will be all right. You know, they play playoff basketball, 82 games, you know, a season. So yeah, they're ready, man, and I think a lot of people don't want to face them because of Randolph and Gasol and Conley. He deserves to be mentioned too.
Tony Allen too.
Yeah, Tony Allen. Yeah, you know, defense. So yeah, I think they're going to give a lot of people problems and will be, like FIFO said, a tough out.
Yeah.
What about you, B? Pretenders or contenders with the Grizzlies and the Mavs?
I don't know. As much as I've been so hype on the Grizzlies, I might say it might be pretenders going into the playoffs because their numbers since the All-Star break has declined dramatically. I mean, Gasol's numbers have dropped. Debo numbers has dropped. Their field goal percentage and 3-point percentage has dropped. Courtney Lee's numbers has been horrible since the All-Star break.
Exactly why I brought it up.
I don't even know. I might have to say pretenders. And y'all know I've been high on Memphis pretty much all season.
Yeah, you've been high on Memphis
so,
day one.
Yeah, since, you know, they've been one of my dark horses coming out the West. But since the All-Star break, I'm serious. Look up their numbers. Look up their numbers before the All-Star break and look at the players and the team numbers after the All-Star break. They've been kind of stinking, and I'm just being honest. They've been stinking up the joint, and I got them down. I'm serious. I got them down as contenders. Now, they could prove me wrong or prove us wrong that they might turn it up in the playoffs probably, but as of right, what I'm seeing since the All-Star weekend, since the All-Star break, they pretenders. And yeah, Dallas, they pretend. For some reason, I'm not really sold on Dallas like that. I think they're gonna probably be in the first round. They're gonna be a first round exit in the playoffs or whatever. I can't see them making a run in the West, especially in the Western Conference. Not this year. So I got both of them. I got both of them down as contenders. And then Monty Ellis, he's been playing horrible. So you know, I don't know. I got both teams, especially Memphis as pretenders. And the reason why I point out Memphis because I had so much high hopes on them. And I was so high on them. It's like I feel like I'm being fooled right now because I'm like, man, all this stuff been talking. You know, Conley's been playing bad. I mean, their whole squad been playing bad since the All-Star break. So, you know, I got them as pretenders. I have to be the only one in that one. Well, not the only one, but me and we the only ones in that joint. So, baking soda.
Hey, we up against it, man. We got a couple more calls to get to. As always, Ryan, man, thanks for calling in, man. We definitely appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Keep it up, man. It's paying off. It goes up.
All right, appreciate it.
Peace. Have a good night, guys.
No doubt.
Appreciate it, man.
Phone number, Ryan, call 646-478-0356. You're locked into the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, 12 Kyle, joined by my boys, Beezy, Ken, and FIFO. Hit us up. Oh, programming note, before I forget, for all of those of you who signed up for the Dead End Sports Fantasy Baseball Draft, the Fantasy Draft is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I almost forgot. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., make sure that you set your lineups. You're not going to be there. Looking forward to it, man. First annual Dead End Sports Baseball Fantasy Baseball Draft. I'm going to try to win, man. I'm going to try to win. And like B said, I'm not going to quit halfway through the season.
Yeah, man, I don't know if you quit.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for this lifestyle, Kyle.
Yeah, this this fantasy basketball lifestyle is no joke. I mean, baseball lifestyle is no joke. I haven't played since like 07, 06, 07. I'm telling you, man, from what I remember, but I like it because it's going to make me more engaging in the baseball this season. By me
same here. Same here, man, because I'm going to be honest.
Keep me engaged, man.
I'm going to be honest. If the Yankees ain't on, I ain't watching.
Yep.
Right.
So you just like me. The only team you watch is the Yankees. The only team I pay attention to is the Tigers. So by me playing this fantasy baseball, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to do this because I do want to be more engaging in baseball. And playing this will make me engaging in baseball. So I'm with it. And plus I'm competitive, so I'm playing to win. Ken know how I am. All right, I'm in it to win when I'm playing these fantasy sports, man, for real.
You're still gonna lose.
Whatever.
The phone number to call in, 646-478-0356. So make sure that you do that tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't want anybody saying, oh, man, I'm in L.A. I forgot to set my roster. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. So now you know. We'll tweet it out again tomorrow as well. Let's jump back to the phone lines. Let's go to area code 773. 773, you're on with Dead End Sports. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jock Man.
Jock Man, what's up, man?
Jock Man, what's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. Very excited. Sunday night, opening night, Cubs Cardinals. Very excited to watch some baseball again.
Can't beat that.
Oh yeah, you in the fantasy league too, aren't you? Aren't you in the fantasy league?
Yeah, I'm in the fantasy league.
You was one of the first ones that hit me up that said you wanted to get in.
Yeah.
See, I think you in it. Cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do that. Cubs sent down their top prospect, Chris Bryant, the guy I mentioned last week. And as usual, there was a negative response from the Players Association. Yeah. So they're like, this is like a dark day for baseball, and if Chris Bryant was the best player ever, he would still have gotten sent down, because that's how the Cubs were going to approach it. And it was like, shut up, you guys start. It's your fault there is this deal that the Cubs did what they did, because if they were allowed to do it, pretty much. It was in the rules.
So what do you think about
and the backlash for it, Jock, has been really what kind of surprised me is not so much the backlash, but how the Cubs have reacted to the backlash. Like they were surprised that people are pissed off about it.
Yeah, because as what Ken asked was what I think about it. As much as I want to see him up like immediately because I know he's ready, I get it. I accept this. I would rather have him play another year because I'll probably still be there for that. And I'd rather I can wait 9 games because that's the minimum he'd miss.
Okay.
Yeah, and on the backlash, it's I knew it was gonna happen. Everyone outside of Chicago has been outspoken that they want Chris Bryant up in the major leagues opening night, but it was such a no-brainer business-wise that I'm still surprised they just don't realize that. Like, the main scenario I hear is, what if the Cubs miss the playoffs by 1 game, and it was because of Chris Bryant not being up? There's a lot of reasons why you would have missed the playoffs by 1 game, and if they're good enough to make the playoffs, they'll make the playoffs. That's pretty much all I got to say about that.
You go.
And on the Bulls, real quick, why I think they're contenders. They've been playing better as of late. They're getting healthier. I think they have a legit shot. They're the number 3 seed right now. And if the rumors are true about Tom Thibodeau, that this is his last year, I would think that he would want to go out with a ring.
Why would they fire Tibbs, though?
I don't know. I mean, there was like a time I was not paying attention, and then when I started listening to Chicago radio again, everyone's approaching this like it's such a sure thing that he's not going to be back, and that's like, I'm like, why would you do that? He's a great coach. It wouldn't make sense to start over like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think a guy like that, you need him there because, and you got to keep in mind too, Thibodeau really hasn't gotten his full complement, meaning having Rose and the whole squad that they've built around Rose. He really hasn't had him for a great period of time. So I hope that's just a bad rumor. Chicago needs a guy like Thibodeau there.
Yeah, I would rather see him stay for sure.
I don't know what's up with the front office, man, in Chicago. Like, the Jordan years, man. Like, I don't what do you mean you have Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, MJ? What do you mean? Give them what they want. Like, what you want, MJ? You want $100 million? Give that man $100 million.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, so yeah, I don't get it, man. Like, Thibodeau's a guy that he's your Popovich, man. Like, you pay him, he's not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere.
Right. Tibbs a great coach, man. I like Tibbs.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy.
Right now, that's the rumor and innuendo. Hopefully we're wrong as far as what we're hearing. But because Jockman, correct me if I'm wrong. He still has another year left on his contract, correct?
Yeah, he does. He's still under contract.
Okay. So hopefully that, and and of course, winning cures everything. So if they can make a run, Eastern Conference Finals, possibly coming out of the East, I'm pretty sure people won't have a lot to say about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, as always, man,
right.
Thanks for calling in, Jock. We definitely appreciate it, brother.
All right. You guys have a good week. Congrats on the shout-out from Kendrick. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was dope. Thanks.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. You guys have a good week.
You too, man. Peace.
Peace.
Phone number, Jockman, call 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. You're locked in to Dead End Sports, taking you up until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, man, it's crazy. That is crazy. Just to even mention of Tom Thibodeau possibly not being on the Bulls sideline is crazy to me. Let's jump back to the phone lines. Let's go to we got about 10 minutes left. We got we got my dad on. Dad, what's up, man?
How you doing, son? Good hearing from you. Nothing much. Sir. I was thinking about you and your wild predictions, and I was wondering if your boys been getting on you about them and all that excessive. It was about the Hawks taking it all.
I mean, Dad, the Hawks are going to win it all. Everybody knows that.
Nobody but you. I think you're delusional, son. Oh, by the way, Beezy, I love you, brother, but I got to tell you about this thing I saw on Facebook where at the animal hospital in Columbus, they have Michigan hydrants all around for the dogs that come to the hospital.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
I said that was Ohio State at its best.
Oh, man, that is.
I loved it.
Oh, my God.
I loved it.
Oh, man.
I loved it, man. It was great.
But I think the Hawks I think that's just my pick. I got the Hawks when I got to take parade down Peachtree Street.
Now on the NCAA, believe it or not, me and Ed's got our conference going. We got a dinner at stake. I have to let Michigan State wins, I win. Duke wins, he wins, as on our bracket sheet. Which reminds me, who won your sheets that were mailed into you? Did you acknowledge your winner, or do you have a winner yet?
You know what? We don't have a winner just yet. Let me pull it up. I can tell you in a second who is actually leading. I know it's not one of the three of us.
Nope.
That I do know because I think Ken was last and B was next to last, and I was not far ahead of them. Let's see, Border Hooper Kid. Now, he picked Wisconsin to win it all, so he still has a chance to not necessarily win it all.
Very
He's
interesting.
number one. He's got 93 points. Braden Troughton is number 2. Dylan Chow is number 3. Both Braden and Dylan have picked Kentucky, so they both still have a chance at winning. So yeah, it's and I think I'm ranked. Oh man, dang, Ken's ahead of me. Ken's at 9, and B is at 13, and I've dropped to 19. Jesus, what the hell's going on?
Your prognostication powers are showing.
Man, what is wrong with you? Somebody must have hacked into this thing, man. Something ain't right.
It's right, son. It's right.
I was ahead of them like 2 days ago. What happened?
I don't know. Some hidden ballots, some bad chads, or what was that back when Bush was running against Gore?
I still got
hanging chads or something like that.
As long as I finish ahead of Ken and B, I'm okay.
All right. Well, I'm not rooting for anybody on that one. I'm going to stay neutral. But I want to speak on KD too. Kyle, I'm like you. KD's a warrior. I have no problem with them shutting him down. You're right. That body frame he has is a great advantage. And when you're talking about feet, the first thing that came in my head was Greg Oden. Greg Oden could have been, a dominant center, but he ain't got no feet. And or those micro fractures in his feet that did him in. Really, you know, he had a couple of seasons where he played as a reserve, but he never did play up to his potential. Never got to play to his potential because of feet. But hopefully, KD, unlike you, I hope KD makes 100% recovery. I'm not an Oklahoma City fan. Everybody knows I'm a Knicks fan. But there's certain players like KD, Kobe, guys that are warriors. D-Rose, I hope he is a warrior, because if he is a warrior, as I think he is, he will come back. Now, I hope what happens with him, and maybe I'm wrong, but I hope Chicago recovers. So they have 3 bad seasons without him. I'd rather have one good season with them, because one good season with D-Rose and the parts that they got, they're going to be a threat to anybody in the East. And that's what I'd rather. And plus, the young man, I'd like to see him recover, because he's going to get older. And I want to see the man in one piece when he's my age. I want to see him be able to walk around and have as much fun as I do, not acting like somebody that's my age, because I definitely don't act like my age, and thank God I don't have to. So I hope he is at his best. Now, right. I don't know enough about the modern baseball players to even enter a fantasy league. And, Kyle, I don't know how good or bad that Kendrick album is. I'll let you tell me about it when I come to Atlanta or you come to Florence.
I'll play with it. It's dope.
Well, I'd love to hear it then, you know. I'm not really a great hip-hop fan, but I've learned to appreciate the guys that are doing good.
When I tell you, when I play it for you, you're going to love it. Trust me.
Well, I mean, you know, it's the same thing. When I really listened to Tupac, I loved him. When I really listened to Jay-Z, I loved him. Guys like Drake? That, you know.
Like Drake?
I haven't listened to anything by him. I have never heard anything by him.
He's not good.
Now, I've heard some stuff by Public Enemy. I love them, too. Those guys, they're all right. Those guys had their heads on straight. So, I mean, you know, I wish I knew more.
I'll have it for I'll have it for you, Dad. Hey, we're up against the break. We're about to end the show.
All right, son. Guys, have a great week. And
right.
BZ, you got to find that, man. It's great.
Oh no.
All right, Dad.
Love you guys. Have a great. All right, looking forward to it, son. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye. Phone number, Dad, call 646-478-0356. Again, 646-478-0356. Man, that wraps up tonight's show, man. We had a blast, as always, man. Got to thank everybody that called in, man. First and foremost, man, got to go back to what we started. If you missed the first part of the show, if you have not had a chance when we finish this show, we'll retweet it out. But Kendrick Lamar doing an interview with MTV, gave a shout-out to Dead and Hip Hop for their review of his album, To Pimp Butterfly. Huge props for the fellas, man. I couldn't be more proud of these cats. Hard work pays off, man. Hard work pays off, and like I've always said previous times, definitely appreciate y'all for letting me rock on with you. I enjoy getting on, but more importantly, I enjoy watching the videos myself, and it was a dope review, man. Dope review, and I'm glad. And we talked about it on Friday when we hung out. You know, we said that Kendrick would see it, and you know, I'm glad that he got a chance to see it and you know, basically give his stamp of approval, because it doesn't get any bigger than that. So if you guys have not seen the video, like I said, we'll tweet it out, and we'll put it out there for everybody to see. And we're getting notification. We got about 90 seconds left. Again, got to thank everybody for calling in. Got to thank you, the listener. Remember, this show is being broadcast live each and every Tuesday night. So in the event you cannot listen to the show live, make sure that you check out the archives at blogtalkradio.com/deadendsports. You can also check us out on Stitcher, as well as iTunes, as well as now being featured on SoundCloud. And also check out our website. Our podcasts are always uploaded on our website, deadendsports.com. So yeah, that's what we have for this week, man. We're gonna come back next week, and we'll be talking about the national champion next week. So, and any and everything in between. B, what's the saying for the night, B?
Baking soda. I got baking soda.
I don't know where the hell that came from. Hey, man, that's gonna do it for this week. For Beezy, for Ken, for FIFO, I'm your host, 12 Kyle, man. We'll holler at you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
If you do that.
Oh.